They aren't all valedictorians. They weren't all brought in by their parents. For everyone who's a valedictorian, there's another 100 out there that they weigh 130 pounds and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert. Those people would be legalized with the same act.
That, of course, was Congressman Steve King comparing undocumented immigrants to drug traffickers, a kind of lateral step from last May when he described such individuals as dogs. Unless you think that Mr. King may have misspoken, he took the trouble last night to make his position abundantly clear.
It's not something that I'm making up. This is real. We have people that are mules, that are drug mules, that are hauling drugs across the border, and you can tell by their physical characteristics what they've been doing for months, going through the desert with 75 pounds of drugs on their back. And if those who advocate for the DREAM Act, if they choose to characterize this about valedictorians, I gave them a different image that we need to be thinking about, because we just simply can't be passing legislation looking only at one component of what would be millions of people.
And in an act of paper courage, but perhaps in-person cowardice, senior Republicans have criticised Mr. King. Speaker Boehner, who is yet to take a stance of his own on the immigration debate, issued a written statement which read in part, "What he said is wrong. There can be honest disagreements about policy without using hateful language. Everyone needs to remember that." And House Majority Leader Eric Cantor also added his own written statement. "I strongly disagree with his characterization of the children of immigrants and find the comments inexcusable." For more now, I'm joined by Congressman Luis Gutiérrez, Democrat from Illinois and a member of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Martin.
Representative Trey Gowdy says there aren't enough Republicans who share Mr. King's views to derail immigration reform. But Mr. King refuses even to apologise when he's pursued by reporters. So I ask you, do these idiotic, reprehensible comments detract from the progress that House Republicans may have been making on immigration?
They may hurt the Republican Party and their standing, but since we're into numerical equations, let me just give you this one. There are 25 good, decent Republicans for every Steve King in the Republican caucus of the Congress of the United States. I'm working with some, and one of them is Trey Gowdy, and another is Paul Ryan, and other members, Raul Labrador, and other members who want to bring about comprehensive immigration reform. So last weekend, Martin, I was in Bakersfield in California with Republican Congressman Valadao. We shared a podium together with farm workers talking about comprehensive immigration reform. Next day I got to Denver last Sunday, and there was Republican Congressman Kaufman putting an editorial page commentary saying he's for comprehensive immigration and saying that the dream kids should go to citizenship and so should their parents eventually.
Okay.
So we have a balance. So okay. I think Steve King is clearly an outlier in the Republican Party, and some of us are doing the hard work ignoring the ignorant racist comments that he makes.
And do you believe that Mr. King is an ignorant racist?
I can't think of any other words that truly describes the very despicable words that he said. They're both ignorant statements and they're both racist statements. And you can't really. But I just want to clear it up. Right?
Yes.
We want to talk about equations. There are 25 members of the Congress, Republican Congress, for every Steve King, and we're going to work with them, and we're going to get this done, and we're not going to allow him to detract us, because that's what he wants to do. That's his goal. You know what? This is a desperate man that cannot confront the broad and very deep movement that exists across economic, social, religious sectors in this America, demanding that we take care of 11 million people and we stop their exploitation and we bring them in as our brothers and sisters into this great nation.
Okay, well, let's talk policy for a moment then. Is simply legalizing the dreamers a viable solution? That is, to legalize the children but send their parents back?
So yesterday I was part of the panel. I had 3 Republican colleagues, 1 Democrat. We were the first panel yesterday. And here's what I said. Thank you. The cup is half full. I'm happy that you're moving away from criminalization. I'm happy you're walking away from demonization of our immigrant community. And I said to my Republican colleagues, thank you. The cup is starting to get half full. Thank you for allowing to have a conversation on the dreamers and allowing a legalization that can eventually end up in citizenship for them. But I said, let me be clear. that isn't not going to be enough. If you really care and you think these are upstanding, great, young Americans and everything but a piece of paper, and you want to make them citizens, guess what? They're that in great measure because they got great moms and great dads. And don't set them asunder in the United States of America, because in the end, everybody's going to remember how well you treated the Dreamers, but you know what they're going to remember even more? How poorly you treated their moms and dads. The nation will remember that.
So very briefly, and I only have about 15 to 20 seconds with you, sir, are we going to see comprehensive immigration reform during the period of this Congress?
Yes. The movement is broad, it's deep, and it's inevitable. And I want to come back and talk to you when we get it done, Martin.
Representative Luis Gutierrez, sir, thank you so much, and you're more than welcome to come back. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this afternoon. Hardball and Chris Matthews are ready to go right now.